Good morning, market snipers. Welcome back. This is Jesse. It's 9 a.m. right on the dot. We're going to get this party started. In the title, we're talking about, is Bitcoin stalling out, right? Is Bitcoin stalling out? It's still currently bullish on the higher time frames. That's to be of note. Welcome, everyone. Welcome, West Diddy. Let's go. Javier, good morning. Aldo, misspelling my name, very consistent over there. BTC distributing. Are we going to Bart this move on the lower time frames? It looks like it. So we're going to dive into that. We're going to dive into Bitcoin. We're going to find out if NVDA continues to drop. Right, crypto, is it going to see a retracement after hitting a few targets in the very hitting 2 targets, 3 targets, 4 targets? Some of them is it going to get a retracement before a larger bounce? These are all questions that we're going to take a look at, and we're going to dive in the charts the first 15 to 30 minutes together. And then the second half of the stream, we're going to start charting all your requests. We're going to answer your questions, and we're going to get rocking and rolling here. So to jump in here, we've got Bitcoin, right? And I put this horizontal line on just as a reminder that the Bitcoin halving is beginning, right? In 164 days. 9 hours, 23 minutes, and 57 seconds, right? So it won't be exact, but it will probably get more dialed in as time gets closer and closer, but it's an estimate, right? So estimated halving is April 13th. It was April 15th, so maybe it's happening a little bit faster by a few days. So nothing like too significant, but it is something to be aware of. So I have put it on the chart, right? And the reason why we have it on the chart and why it's a possible big deal is because in the past, the halving, there's been some pumps before the halving, right? And then there's a bigger retracement before the halving, and then the next bull run begins after that. So if you haven't done your research, good morning, John Pye, welcome back. If you haven't done your research on Bitcoin, then you think we're always going to the moon, right? If you haven't done your research on Bitcoin, then you think we're going to zero, right? So seems like the perma bulls continue to be wrong, right? Unless they're just a buy and hold forever. And that's not what this channel is about. We're about swing trading to capture more Bitcoin, right? We're swing trading to build our accounts up more, right? We're long-term swing trading, aka investing to not just be a buy and holder forever. If you are a buy and holder forever and it works for you, great. Just for me personally, I'd rather capture more Bitcoin and not just see the one Bitcoin actually go up in value or down in value. I want to increase one coin to 2 coins, 2 coins to 4 coins, and so on, right? So that's why I swing trade Bitcoin. And so we're gonna get into all that. So what we have seen is that in the past, we've seen these big 70, 80% corrections in Bitcoin. Then we've seen rallies, right? And then when we've seen drops before the halving, puts in a higher low at some point, and then takes off to the bull run, right? And then that bull run is going to be somewhere, confirmed, breaking out back up here, probably in the $30,000 range. Doesn't mean just because it's happened in the past, it's going to happen in the future. And I keep talking about possibly doing a longer video on this, and I probably will. But just real quick, since I haven't done that video yet, I want to talk about it today. So, of course, it could look like something like this, where it comes up, hits target 2, retraces, and then comes back up. Where this could be different, right? Where this could be different, and if we zoom in here on the chart, is how is Bitcoin going to react? And this is probably going to be on the longer video. And we've talked about this in the past on previous videos, right? If you come over here to the channel and you come back, market meltdown confirmed, on Dow Jones, SP crash, how does it impact Bitcoin, right? And you come back here a month ago, will the stock market crash impact Bitcoin, right? So those are all things that we're continuing to think about. We're continuing to monitor, because if the overall stock market is crashing like the .com bubble or the 2008 crash, how is Bitcoin going to react? Will it still have a massive bull run like it's had in the past? We don't know for sure, right? If it does have a similar bull run like it does in the past, then we could see something like this play out, right? But if NASDAQ is crashing back to March 2020 lows, could Bitcoin, break correlation and still have a bull run? It's possible, right? But in the past, when the NASDAQ or SP 500 have had bigger crashes like March 2020 lows, you've seen Bitcoin drop 60 to 65%, right? So it's still a high risk asset. It's still risk off as of right now. I know there's a lot of narratives as Bitcoin's pushing about the ETFs and stuff like that. But just keep in mind that if you look at the futures were approved at the end of 2017 and then went into a bear market, right? So, and there are other ETFs outside the US that's already been approved. You can look to Canada for that, right? GPTC it's a trust, but it kind of feels like an ETF. MicroStrategy, they hold Bitcoin, right? They kind of feel like an ETF. So there's a lot of hype about the ETF. And I remember a lot of hype about AI and NVDA did pump, right? And now it's in correction mode. So keep those all. ABK, welcome back. Liked as always. Thank you. I appreciate that. We're gonna go through every single comment on the second half of the stream. Good, bad, or ugly. Smash the like button. And do me a favor. Like sometimes we do get obnoxious, but smash the subscribe button. Help out the channel. Smash the subscribe button. Smash the like button. Helps out the algorithms. Helps out, push this out to more people on the audience. Smash the like. So I appreciate all that. Thanks for everyone for smashing the like. Thank you for supporting the channel. And thank you for commenting. And we'll get to all your comments with all that stuff. So where is Bitcoin? If it doesn't have a bull run, we hope Bitcoin has a bull run. We hope for it. We hope for it. We hope for it. It could change a lot of lives, a lot of market sniper lives. We hope for it. We hope for it. We hope for it. However, if the NASDAQ gets into a bigger market correction, not confirmed yet, right? Despite what the YouTube video said, it's not confirmed yet that we have a bigger correction, but if it does, will that impact Bitcoin? I'm going to probably do a follow-up video on this because we need to keep talking about it, keep being aware of it, keep that in the back of our minds so that we're not caught off guard and we're just thinking we're automatically going to the moon. So around 30 more to get 2,000 subs. Awesome, Javier. Awesome. We'll get to 2,000 subs in the near future, right? So thanks to all of you, all of your support. We appreciate it. Let's keep going here. We can always circle back if anything unfolds. Oh, we will circle back to Bitcoin based off of all those comments. Is it distributing? Well, it's bullish on the higher time frames, but I think you're talking about on the lower time frames. So let's circle back to Bitcoin and we'll look at those lower time frames because, we talked about this on previous streams, Aldo, that we could see some consolidation before the next move up, like we have in the past. Dog, hey, from Germany. Awesome. Welcome back. So we'll definitely get into all that. I just want to kind of point out a few things when you start to see a lot of perma bulls and perma bears on, YouTube, X, Twitter app, all that stuff, right? Who knows on TikTok? I'm not on TikTok, but so let's keep going. NASDAQ futures, right? Let's take a look at NASDAQ futures weekly chart here. Still had that weekly sell signal back here at 14,000. Just kind of, there's some profit taking down here, kind of letting the trending dots catch up. It's still bearish on the weekly chart, right? So we're still expecting lower prices, but it doesn't mean it won't get a bounce here. And we talked about this, late Thursday, even in the Discord. Could we see some profit taking right before my target? Right before the 200-day moving average. If I change this to the 200-day moving average, right? Let's see, change that to day. It's right there at 14,060, call it $64, right? On the 200-day moving average. It's some profit taking right before. I mean, it got within what, $100 of that. It's not by chance, right? It's not by luck, right? Coming in right to my target within 0.5%. They front run it and take some profit, right? We, us, right? So that's to be expected. We're seeing some profit taking. We're seeing a little bit of a bounce heading into the end of the month. That's what we're kind of thinking. Maybe a little bit of a bounce heading into the first part of November, right? Whether it's a couple of days, whether it's one day, and then that's Wednesday, right? Maybe it's Thursday, and by the end of the week, it, maybe it even finishes lower, possibly, right? And creates that wick on the monthly chart, right? So if you jump over the monthly chart, right, you've got you got this bearish candle here just breaking down on the monthly chart, right? I'm going to take this off here. You've got 3 red candles in a row, right? And another monthly close that's looking very bearish, right? And so if you're looking at it like that, could we see a MACD bearish crossover very similar to like the Dow Jones, right? It had crossed over bullish, and we talked about this on one of the videos as well. Going back to this MACD, I talked about Bitcoin, back there on that. So you can always go take a look at that video. But Dow Jones had crossed over bullish and then crossed back over bearish, right? So will the NASDAQ do something similar? It's possible. So as of right now, it's still in bullish territory, still above the trending dots, but the trending dots seems like it's at least going to be retested back below 14,000, and we'll see from there. Whereas the Dow Jones retested the trending dots and then broke back down, and the Dow Jones, we have a pending sell signal there on the monthly chart. So these are higher time frames. We're not talking about all-time highs when the weekly chart is bearish. We're not talking about all-time highs when the monthly chart starts to look bearish again. We're not talking about all-time highs when there's another bearish MACD crossover on the Dow Jones. So, if people are still talking about that, they're going to be very surprised. And of course, in hindsight, they'll call it a black swan event. We won't let them get away with it. We won't let them call that. We won't let them do it. They'll probably block me, but that's okay. I've been blocked in the past, and it's because they were dead wrong. I told them they were probably dead wrong, and they continue to push out to 250,000 Twitter X app followers. Anyways, who am I talking about? David, the contrarian, right? We had a gentleman's bet. If you follow me back on the Twitter X app in 2022, early 2022, I told him we were going much lower. He said all-time highs, and we broke down 37.5%. Sorry, David, you were wrong. Again, you've probably been calling for all-time highs for the last 2 years, and we still don't have them. Sorry, not sorry, hashtag, whatever. So let's get back on track here. Let's get back to the NASDAQ. Okay, so the weekly chart is still bearish, right? Could we see the monthly chart flip back around next month? It could take a month or two, right? Just like the Dow Jones, could take a month or two to flip back around bearish on the MACD and follow the Dow Jones. Doesn't mean it 100% will, but if it does follow the Dow Jones, right, then we could see that. If, it's looking like SP 500 is kind of somewhere in between the NASDAQ and somewhere in between the Dow Jones, where it could flip back bearish again on the MACD, right? Russell 2000 never even had no, it did. I'm sorry. It did have a bullish here. Can't even really see it. Let me zoom in here on the MACD. It did cross over a little bit more bearish. It never got back over the zero line. Did have a bullish crossover and then crossed back over a couple months ago, right? So crossed back over in September. This would be another month down. So Russell 2000 leading the way. Dow Jones is in second place. SP 500 seems like third place. And then the NASDAQ possibly fourth place. Who knows about Bitcoin? Maybe Bitcoin will break correlation. Or is that it for this month? And then it pumps up for another, the first part of November and or is done and then flips back around bearish. We talked about this. We covered it. We're early, right? Probably a little too early, right? We got the MACD. There's 2 ideas here on why is price lagging. Will the MACD with a bullish crossover on Bitcoin, will it be bullish or bearish? Will it continue to be bullish on the MACD, bullish crossover, or will it flip back around like the Dow Jones and be bearish? We talked about this 12 days ago. We'll continue to talk about it. We'll continue to monitor it. NASDAQ's starting to break down here, 14,375. I'm watching on lower time frames as well, right? Weekly chart, still bearish, right? We're going to cover all that. Now, let's get into Dow Jones. We'll take a quick look at it. Hit this last target. It's not target one, but I did remove a couple targets just to keep the charts clean. Bubble Donkey in the house. Great show. Thanks, Bubble Donkey. I appreciate that. Luis, you got this. Is that emoji? It's not really showing up. We're going to come back. We'll take a look at it. I'll show you what I'm seeing. We're rock and rolling. The Dow Jones weekly is still bearish, right? Expect bounces along the way. Expect the trending dots to catch up. Expect the moving averages to catch up, right? This is the 200-day. Usually I have the 200-week moving average is on. It's below it, but I just changed it to the 200-day just to kind of let you know where we're at in the potential process, right? The potential process of the NASDAQ retesting the 200-day. The potential of the NASDAQ going back below the 200-day moving average, similar to the Dow Jones, right? Broke down, and then we started to see price really break down after price went below the 200-day moving average. SP 500 really started to drop after it went below the 200-day moving average. We've been talking about this. We've been covering it. Many investors think it's a bear market below the 200-day moving average, probably triggered some larger firms, right? Many think it's a bear market below the 200-week moving average, probably get some more triggers after that. They're late to the party as usual. The market snipers are ahead of the game. We're talking about it way back here. We're talking about lower highs way back here. We're talking about lower highs way back here. They're so late to the party. We're early to the party. Foresight is greater than hindsight. We'll keep talking about that. The Russell 2000 continues to be bearish. We had a weekly reversal candle, lower high. Here, it was breaking back down below the 200-day moving average, way back here where the MACD bearish crossover was on the weekly chart, and just continues to sell off, just continues to break down. Trend line after trend line after trend line after this key support target, right? Took out this pivot, took out this pivot, took out this pivot. The probabilities continue to increase. We're going to come back down to sub $1,500 or around that $1,500 mark. When? We don't know. What day? We don't know. What week? We don't know. That's not for us to decide. That's for the big players, the big market makers. We're just the cleaner fish swimming with the great white sharks in the ocean. And we're not trying to attack the great white sharks. We're not trying to eat them. They will eat us. We want to be the cleaner fish, scoop up whatever we can, scoop up the table scraps of the great white fish. What am I even talking about? Let's just keep moving. DXY continuing to look bullish on the DXY weekly chart. Only hit target one, right? Found support at target one on the lower time frames. Only found support at target one, never hit target two, target three, or target four, right? But we know this on the lower time frames that even with the bearish divergence, we were talking about, it could be already cleared out, right? Could already be cleared out. And it's looking like it was cleared out already with the shorter term bearish divergence, right? So that's where a lot of traders get discouraged, is they think the entire trend change is over, but that's not the case, right? So that's where they get discouraged. However, the weekly chart is still bullish. The monthly chart is still bullish. And that's what we'll continue to watch, right? So the weekly chart, trending back up is in the, at 65 currently right now. MACD still in bullish territory. So the trend is your friend until the end. It's hit 3 targets to this upwards retracement. Will it hit that 4th target? We don't know. But the DXY continues to be bullish. The 10-year yield still at 4.865%. It's in overbought territory, right? But it's still on this very vertical upward trend line. It's still above this very vertical trend line. It's still above this long-term upward trend line. Still hasn't hit this 3rd long-term target. These targets were mapped out based off of a 40-year downward trend line break way back here, January 2022. I put those targets out way back then. And since then, we hit target 1, we hit target 2, We got very close to hitting target 3, which is above 5%. Will we see it? It's possible, but there could be some retracement in the meantime. On the lower time frames, there's bearish divergence. In the lower time frames, we could see a breakdown. Maybe it'll find support at this trend line down here and then continue upward after that. So we'll see. It's still bullish on the weekly chart, but there is some bearish divergence on the daily chart. The VIX, the wild animal, right, has hit 3 targets out of 4 3 out of 4 shorter term targets so far. Is it going to find support here? It's still above the 200-day moving average, still above this downward trend line back from who's smashing likes. Julia Ferris, CCs on S is a good idea. Okay. Yeah, we've been talking about SQQQ is a good idea. Jewelry Ferris, go check out this video, right? Go check out this video. High risk video from 1 month ago. It's talking about SQQQ. Is it a good idea? I don't know. It's high risk, right? And if your risk appetite is very, very high and you're maybe like expert level, then maybe it's for you. But if not, buyer beware, right? It's very high risk. And that's why I put that in the video. It is high risk. I put some dice, roll the dice, right? Could be payoff, right? So Julia Ferris, yeah, a small thumbs up for the content. Thanks, Luis. Yeah, thank you. All right, cool. All right, let's keep going. So that's the VIX. It could find support. We'll see. It's still bullish on the weekly chart. Just keep that in mind. It's still bullish on the weekly chart. The MACD got pretty extended, right? It is above the 0 line. The MACD is above the 0 line. It did get extended. It's kind of letting the trending dots catch up. It's kind of letting the MACD catch up. It's kind of letting the moving averages catch up, right? So that's what we're continue to watch. What else are we talking about? We're talking about crypto, right? We've been covering this. We had a buy signal on Ethereum weekly chart, right? You look down here, we had a buy signal. Interesting. I'm just going to leave it on the 200-day moving average. We always talk about the 200 week, but it's currently barely holding support on the 200-day moving average. Will it have higher prices from here? The higher time frames are bullish on Ethereum. It's possible we come up and see target 2 and hit that, very similar to Bitcoin. It's possible. Solana. So I always say Solano. Solana, right? Had that buy signal on the weekly chart back here at $23.80. Hit all these lower time frame, all these shorter term time frames, blasted through all of them, still trending up to that longer term target 1, right? So it's up 3.61% today. Continues to be bullish on the weekly chart, right? Still bullish on the weekly chart on all things, right? On all indicators, indicators. Chainlink, still ultra bullish, right? Still ultra bullish on the weekly chart. Matic doesn't even have a buy signal yet. Hasn't even got back above the 200-day moving average, similar to Ethereum, right? Will it? We don't know. Cardano was flashing a pending buy signal last week, right? It didn't close with the pending buy signal. Cardano was pending a buy signal just yesterday, right? It no longer is. Got rejected, looks like at, very close to my second target and the 200-day moving average, right? Will it have a buy signal in the near future or this week or next week? It's possible, right? We got a green trending dot down there. Things are starting to line up. We had a weekly close down above this downward trend line. We'll continue to watch and wait for it. Obviously, it was ultra bullish on the daily chart. Broke out this downward trend line. Trending dots are kind of catching up today, right? You can see that hard rejection off there. Crypto is a wild animal, right? Had a buy signal back here at 25 cents. It is still bullish on the daily. It could flip bullish on the weekly at any moment. That's what we're continuing to watch. Near, right? Kind of clean up the chart a little bit. Zoom in. Near It was looking like a pending buy signal on the weekly chart as well. Got the 200-day moving average coming in at target 4 on these shorter term targets. If it regains all this and flips this into support, then we could look at possible massive opportunities to the upside. But until then, it's still in a downtrend. Even though we had a weekly close back above the trending dots, there are signs of strength. Buy signal on RSI weekly chart as well, right? So we'll continue to watch it, right? The daily chart is still ultra bullish on the daily chart. While we're watching the weekly chart kind of flip around, maybe it consolidates sideways. Maybe it lets the trending dots catch up. Maybe there's a retracement before the next possible move up. But as of right now, it's ultra bullish on the daily chart. Dot, similar thoughts as Dot, Cardano, and Near. That's what we've been watching a lot, right? And so we continue to watch. So had this buy signal consolidated underneath this downward trend line, right? Letting the trending dots catch up, came all the way back down to $4. And then we were talking about this on the live streams, right? We were talking about it. Did it find support? Did it find support? It was looking like it was getting close to that trend line again, came back down again, and then just broke through it, right? And then came back down and tested the trend line again, right? It's been battling that trend line for almost 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 days, right? So it looks like it's bouncing off of it now. Weekly chart, right? This could be the first weekly close back above this downward trend line. Could see we had a buy signal, or we have a pending buy signal on RSI, right? We could see a regular buy signal either this week or next week or in the near future on the weekly chart for DOT. So that's what we're kind of watching there. SQQQ had the breakouts. No buy signal on the weekly chart yet. We could have a buy signal in the near future. Still below the 200-day moving average. Very similar to the QQQs. Very similar to the NASDAQ that, still above the 200-day moving average. Whereas SQQ, being the inverse bear ETF 3x leverage, is still below it, right? So at some point, will it flip the 200-day moving average? Very similar to the Dow Jones, very similar to SP 500, very similar to the Russell 2000, and so on and so on and so on. On the daily chart, right? It's consolidating, came up, hit target 1. It's consolidating, letting the trending dots catch up. So the next breakout could be the next opportunity. If you missed this buy signal and this breakout at 1968, if you missed this breakout, this downward trend line back here, right? If you missed the retracement back here at $20, you missed all that move. It's consolidating right now. So the next move could be maybe one of the last good possibilities. And it could be right around when the weekly chart flips bullish and has a buy signal on SQQ. Not financial advice. None of this is. This is only for educational and for entertainment purposes. All right, that's SQQ. Let's keep going. Bitcoin miners. Let's take a look. We're not rich on the Bitcoin miners yet. We're still not. The Bitcoin miners are still not making us rich. My line in the sand is still down here, right? The line in the sand is still down here. The next possible breakout, if I redraw this, right? The next possible opportunity. Hold on, let me take a look at overall. Okay, right there. Let's do that. So the next possible breakout opportunity, right? You had this one back here. This is where I was at down here. Now this is kind of my line in the sand down here, right? Will it put in a higher low somewhere? Will it find support? And then that next opportunity back up to the upside, that would be, I don't know yet. I haven't decided. I may add to my position if it starts breaking this downward trend line down here. Could see a bigger move at that point. And then these are like catching lightning in a bottle. Right now, I'm just continuing to hold my position on Bitfarm, Riot, and so on and so on, right? So the risk to reward ratio is worth me holding it, right? Since I got in at a sniper precision, right? Bitfarm. So I'm continuing to hold it. Hasn't looked great for the last, one, two, three, 4 trading days. Hasn't looked great, but it's still the same overall thought as when I took the trade, right? So nothing has changed for me, even though there's a sell signal there, right? I got back in here and it looks like, the ship's kind of turning around slowly on the weekly chart. It's possible, but cautious. It's still bearish, right? It's still overall bearish on the weekly chart, still below the trending dots. It was above the trending dots for a little bit last week, so it might take a week or two, and then we'll find out if I'm correct or not. At the end of the day, I didn't bet the farm. I didn't put all my eggs in one basket. I didn't go crazy. I don't do that. I treat this like a business. So at the end of the day, even if it's a loss, it's not going to be the end of the day. And it's still not even going to match even close to the NASDAQ futures shorts that I've been taking on all short the bounces with 10x leverage. So, well, futures itself is with leverage. So that's Bitfarm. Similar thoughts. Let's take a look at Magnificent Seven. Then we're going to get into all the comments. Where's the entertainment? Olson, tell us a dad joke. Ooh. All right. We're going to do the Magnificent Seven, Aldo. And then let me know if you can hear this. I got this dad joke button because I always do dad jokes. So the wife thought it was funny that I'm in my 40s. I'm not even a dad, right? I'm not even a dad. I'm a dad for a dog, and that's it. But I always have dad jokes, and she makes fun of me because she's in her 30s, right? And so I do have this dad joke button that she got me, and so maybe I'll do it. I'm gonna hit the Magnificent Seven, but stick around. Let me know if you can even hear it. There's like 250 dad jokes on there. Some are terrible, some are good. We could just hit the dad joke button, later on in the live stream, and then you let me know A, if you can hear it, B, if it was any good. But what gets me a lot is the voice on the dad joke button laughs at his own joke, so it's kind of funny. So we'll take a look at it. But Magnificent Seven, right? The Magnificent Seven is let's take a look at it. NVDA weekly chart still doesn't have a sell signal yet, right? Still doesn't have a sell signal yet. And let's take a look at here. Look at this other chart real quick. Let's see. Real quick. Okay. And what am I looking at now? Okay. So NVIDIA still bearish on the daily chart, right? So still bearish here. Got the 200-day moving average coming in at target 2. That's kind of interesting. So like I said, I'm not a moving average guy, and I typically just have the 200-week moving average. I just have the 200-week moving average on there for like as a bookmark. So today we're just going to do the 200-day moving average as like a bookmark. But still, the overall thought is we've got this 20% gap, right? We've been talking about this 20% gap since it created the 20% gap. Obviously, we weren't doing live streams back then. Obviously, that gap happened back in May 2023. And obviously, we didn't start live streams till September 6th. But we've been talking about it even on the live streams, September 6th. We were talking about all-time high plus bearish divergence, right? Bearish divergence. This is when I started calling out bearish divergence back here, June 2023. I said, watch out for future bearish divergence. There was. Then it broke down, and then there was additional bearish divergence. And at that point, I said, I think it's less likely that we see future bearish divergence, and this could be the all-time high plus bearish divergence, plus this was starting to look like a lower high, right? So looking like a lower high here. Price came back to target 2. We expect bounces along the way. We talked about this on the live streams. Put a reversal candle in plus a lower high. We talked about it in real time. Candle close back here. Just quick recap, right? That's where we're kind of recapping it, and then breakdown. So we've been calling it the entire way in NVIDIA, right? The AI has been strong message for, probably the last 6 to 12 months. They've been pushing the AI narrative hard, right? And AI, right, is it's moving fast, right? There is a lot to talked about for AI, but that doesn't mean that NVIDIA can't correct, right? So at the end of the day, we trade the charts. At the end of the day, no matter how much AI will impact everything, NVIDIA was overbought. There was bearish divergence on NVIDIA. There's a 20% gap. So no matter how strong the AI narrative is, or how much it will impact businesses in the next year, 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, however long it takes to truly, truly impact businesses. You're already seeing major moves on AI. No matter what, on all of that, we're looking at a 20% gap. And I'm telling you, from a trading standpoint, there's going to be, that trumps it, right? So, in my opinion, eventually the 20% gap gets filled. It's just a matter of time. 200-day moving average is down here by target 2. If it's already hitting target 2 and the 200-day moving average, the probabilities will be stacked so high, I'd be surprised if it doesn't hit target 3 and the gap. So that's NVIDIA. Still bearish on Meta. We're already at 35 minutes. We're gonna get going here and get through all the comments, start charting all your stuff. Put in the comments if you want me to take a look at anything. If not, Aldo will circle back and look at the lower time frames on BTC. Meta, still bearish on the daily chart. Amazon, bouncing right now. Remember, Amazon's back above the 200-day moving average. It was it was 2 of 7 of the Magnificent 7 that came back and retraced to the March 2020 lows. So Amazon's a little bit different than the other 5 of the Magnificent 7, in my opinion. So something to keep an eye on. Still is below the 200-week moving average. Still considered bearish, a bear market by many investors. Microsoft still battling whether it's going to put in this lower high, right? It was looking like the lower high down here. Then it was looking like a push up, and then a push right back down. And then, at some point, there's going to be that lower high put in, right? So not yet, but Microsoft still looking like that, still holding on. Tesla, still ultra bearish on Tesla, right? Below $200 on Tesla. Will it find support at this target? Possibly. But remember, we were seeing big moves below the 200-day moving average on the Dow Jones, the Russell 2000, S&P 500, possibly the NASDAQ, right? Possibly some other stocks. Tesla is still ultra bearish on the daily chart. Not here to catch falling knives. It's still trending down. Many will say this is oversold. It's true. It is oversold, but can remain that way, and is sometimes when the magic happens. So where will it find support? We don't know. The weekly chart is still bearish. The daily chart is still ultra bearish. Seems like plenty of room to the downside. Doesn't mean that there couldn't be a bounce along the way. It's been a big move to the downside already. Maybe it bounces, retraces back up a little bit. But as of right now, I wouldn't expect a bounce when the daily chart is still ultra bearish, right? So that's Tesla still trading down. Got this next target here, got this older gap here, and then we'll see if it takes out this pivot low. It's possible, right? We have March 2020 lows down here at $25. Wow. Let's help JO get to 2,000 subs, party people. Yes. Help me, help you, help me. I appreciate that. Thank you. Get those likes. If we get the likes to 100 on a regular basis, first we have to hit it once. But if we get 100 likes one time, and then it becomes 2 times, and then it becomes a regular basis, we will be at 2,000. Mike G, good morning, Sensei Olson. Wake up early today, 2:30 a.m. here on the Gold Coast. Oh my God. Could you please chart CLSK, Bitcoin miner? I'm long from 425 after. Okay. Yeah. We'll come back to that, Mike G. Longtime sniper in the Discord. I appreciate your support. You better believe we'll cover CLSK miner. We cover some of the other miners, probably looking similar to those other miners, Mike G, but we'll cover CLSK for you. Tesla weekly chart is still bearish, right? Maybe the bounce doesn't happen for a while, right? It's ultra bearish on the daily. It's bearish on the weekly chart, right? It's below the 200-day moving average. By many definitions, we are in a bear market for Tesla. Again, right? Started to become a bear market, bounce, came back down, was in a bear market, for a while, battled all the way down, right? Came within a couple dollars of my next target down here that it never hit. I have a longer term target down here, sub 100. It hit like 102, right? So be aware, there is a bigger, longer term target down here, sub 100. We'll look for that. If it hits this target, if it hits that gap, and then ultimately it is possible that Tesla comes back and hits March 2020 lows. We'll watch it. Weekly chart for Apple is still bearish, below the 200-day moving average, right? Below the 200-day moving average. Very similar to everything else. Let's look at the daily chart. Below the 200-day moving average. Is it just getting a bounce back up into it? Is it letting the trending dots catch up? Will it start to roll over again? MACD is still bearish. Below the zero line, right? Everything is still bearish on Apple. There's no signs of a longer term reversal yet, right? Apple continues downward. Google, at some point, this gap was already filled, right? At some point, will it fill this gap to the upside, or will it leave it open and come back down, right? Still above the 200-day moving average. It is still bearish as of right now. The weekly chart had a sell signal last week, right? So came out of nowhere, right? No one expected this, right? No one expected this. What are you talking about, Jesse? We've been covering this on the live streams every single day. No one expected Google to drop. Google this, Google that, Google this, Google that. Oh, we've been covering bearish divergence on the live streams, right? So you go back to September 6th, we were covering all this, watching it, additional bearish divergence, a lower high, another lower high, and then boom, dropped, filled this gap, right? So we've been covering it every single step of the way. That is Google. Let's jump back over to this Sniper Top 40. Let's take a quick look. NASDAQ, pretty much flat today. Dow Jones flat. Everything is flat today. Expect a little bit of bounces here and there, right? So let's get into all the comments. Let's do this. West Diddy, first in line here. Let's go. West Diddy. Javier. Good morning, Market Snipers. Good morning, Javier. West Diddy. Yo, Javier. Smash the like button, Javier. Yes. All right. So remember, the second half, the last 15, 30 minutes, we're going to cover everyone's requests, and we're going to get into all the comments. So we'll keep going. West Diddy. Morning, Javier. Good morning, Market Snipers. Olson, is BT just distributing? Are we going to BART this move? So I was looking at that, the last couple of days. Here's the daily chart, right? So on the daily chart, it does look like it's kind of like could possibly put in, what you're talking about is the Bart Simpson move, right? The Bart Simpson pattern where it just flushes up like this. There's like a short squeeze, right? Goes like this. Looks like Bart Simpson hair, and then comes straight back down, right? And then maybe finds support and goes like that. That's very possible, right? That is a very possible scenario, Aldo. So just keep that in mind. It is currently ultra bullish still on the daily chart. So don't want to guess right now. So maybe if it starts to break back down, maybe it retested the trending dots, or maybe the trending dots like kind of catches up before it starts to break down like this, and it kind of goes sideways, still ultra bullish, right? It's something you have to then maybe it would break down right now. But as of right now, it's still currently ultra bullish. So can't guess that it's going to do it yet. We talked about this even back here a few days ago, or a handful of days ago. We talked about this on the live streams and stuff. Would price come back down based off of lower time frames? There was like a sell on the 1 hour chart, right? There was a sell on the 2 hour chart. Would it come back down, back test this? Because we never back tested this breakout here. Could it back test it before making a move higher, right? It's possible. But as of right now, we don't have anything like that, right? So it's still an ultra bullish territory. It's still bullish on the weekly chart. So it's just it's consolidating sideways as of right now. But the answer to your question is it is possible, definitely, right? So I was definitely looking at that. But too early to say that as of right now on the daily chart. Bitcoin dominance could possibly be leading the way or looks similar. Could be like one of those Bart Simpson patterns as well, like you're talking about, right? Maybe it puts in a right shoulder here, right? You know my thoughts about patterns, and then comes back down like that, kind of lets 200-day moving average catch up, and then breaks out to the next move. So it is possible. That's Bitcoin dominance as well. If that happened, would we see crypto bounce higher? Would we see some of the crypto assets, not all, but would we see some of the crypto assets bounce higher? It's possible. Or is there actually a correction happening with Bitcoin and crypto after that? And Bitcoin dominance is just saying that Bitcoin is going to correct less than the crypto. We don't know. So we're going to take it day by day, move by move. We're going to continue watching. John Pye. Hello, everybody. Smash the like button. Yes, thanks, John Pye. Welcome to the Discord. Also, John Pye. Welcome as a market sniper now. Hello, all. Liked as always. Thanks, ABK. ABK. Appreciate that. Around 30 more to get 2,000 subs. Javier, awesome. Yes, we're getting close. We're dialing in. Doc from Germany, welcome back. Bubble Donkey, great show. Thank you, Bubble Donkey. Appreciate that. Love the name. Big fan of the name. Luis, you got this. Thank you, Luis. Appreciate that. Yeah, small thumbs up for the content. Thanks, Luis. Appreciate that. It'll probably show up, Luis, on YouTube comments, but it's just not showing up in my current StreamYard comments, right? So StreamYard. But maybe it shows up on the YouTube comments. So we'll see. CCs on I'm not sure what the CCs on SQQ is a good idea. Julia Ferris, what are the CCs on SQQ? We talked about SQQ a little bit when I saw your comment, but I'm not sure what the CCs on SQQ is. That some sort of extra leverage? Is that it's not options, on SQQ. What's CCs mean? I'm not sure. Where's the entertainment, Olson? Misspelling my name on purpose. Tell us a dad joke. I'm not going to tell you a dad joke, but here we go. First time ever. We're going to hit the dad joke button just for you, Aldo. We're going to hit it. Let me know if in the comment section if you can hear the dad joke or not. Here we go. Ready?
I'm reading a horror story in Braille. Something bad's going to happen. I can feel it.
That was terrible. That was a terrible dad joke. Maybe it was a terrible idea to even do the dad jokes button. I didn't bring it up. Aldo did. That's for you, Aldo. That was a terrible, terrible dad joke button. There's some better ones on there. I didn't really get it even. But if you could hear that dad joke, let me know. If not, maybe we could try it one more time. But that was awful. Let's help Jo get to 2,000 subs, party people. Yes, I appreciate that. Thanks for saying that, Javier. Thanks for saying that, Wes Diddy. Mike G, morning. Woke up early. I would say so. 2:30 a.m. I was sleeping 2:30 a.m. my time. I need my beauty sleep over here. You're an animal. You're hardcore over there. Mike G, longtime sniper. Here on the Gold Coast, could you please chart CLSK? All right, let's do it. I know I have it on the watch list because people have asked for this before. I think you've asked for it before, CLSK. If not, someone else has. CLSK stocks, right? Clean Spark. Yeah, there it is. All right, let's take a look at it. We talked about this, hitting targets. I didn't even draw the targets out, right? I just eyeballed it, right? And based on the eyeball test, because I didn't do a deeper dive on it, but I thought it was similar to the other Bitcoin miners and very similar to the other Bitcoin miners. I drew out a phantom target one, right? Without actually charting it. And it hit phantom target one, right? So does that even count, right? I didn't even draw the targets, but very similar thoughts that it would come up, hit target one. So very similar to all the other. It broke out, had a buy signal, had another buy signal, probably hit target one. This was just the eyeball test of target one, right? And then came back down, came back around to the trending dots, and looks like the 200-day moving average, right? Will it find support? Possibly, right? See if it finds support and then bounces and takes off. The next possible like milestone breakout will be back above that trend line, right? So are you waiting for that? I don't know, right? Are you waiting, or are you just you're already in a long position? Are you already in a long position? Could you please chart? I'm long. Oh, I'm long from $4.25. So 425, you got in pretty much around like the buy signal, right? So at that point, let's talk about this. Let's talk about this, right? Let's talk about it. This is looking like a low. That's a pretty big consolidation from this move down here, right? That is down 50%, right? So 50%. It's looking like a higher low. It's looking like a higher low. This is possibly the next higher low. It's possible it's finding support, right? It's battling, but it's looking like it's finding potential support. So my thought is, if you're taking let's see, if you took a long position at 425, right? And say you're just stock only, not spot. Say you're just stock only, right? So where's your like 2-to-1 risk to reward ratio, right? If you're up there like that and you've got, say, a stop loss way back down here, well, is it worth holding to lose possibly 20% to gain 40%? Remember, these are wild animals. You have to expect that. It's a wild animal. And if it does flip this into from resistance into support, and if it does flip the weekly chart into a potential buy signal, and it already regained the 200-day moving average, but if it continues to move up, what if it's a bigger move up like Bitcoin, right? So if we switch this to the weekly, the 200-day weekly chart, right? Let's switch that. What if it retests the 200-week moving average similar to Bitcoin? What if CLSK regains the 200-week moving average and hits higher targets, right? So you just have to decide if it's worth holding or not. You just have to decide, because if it does retest the 200-week moving average and you did have a stop loss down here, right? And that's a 20% loss. Is it worth a potential 113% gain? Is it worth a potential 5-to-1 risk to reward ratio? That's something you have to decide, right? So for me, I'm currently still holding mine. Don't do what I do. Don't copy trade me. Don't follow me, right? I could lose my money. And I may not have gone as big as other traders, but I'm also not as worried about my position either, right? So, read between the lines on that one. If you're sometimes, I'm not saying you, Mike G, but if other people get over positioned, right? If other people get over positioned, you're probably sweating it pretty hard right now at 425. And I'm just using this as an example. I have no idea what position size they're in. But if I was in it, me personally, if I was in a huge position right now and it was potentially that I could lose 20%, right? Or, say I'm down 3.5% on it's $100,000, you're down like $3,500. Or, if you're talking about losing possibly like $20,000 because you're swinging for the fences, or maybe it's even bigger than that, right? Maybe you would be a little bit more concerned. And if you are concerned, or if I was concerned, it's probably because I was over positioned, right? So I'm all about hitting base hits, doubles, triples, and sometimes you scale in to hit those home runs, right? So sometimes you scale in to hit those home runs, but I haven't scaled in yet. So I took multiple positions, more than lunch money, more than taking friends out for dinner, but I didn't put all my chips in. I didn't put all my eggs in one basket, right? So maybe, just maybe, it starts finding support and starting to move back up, and just maybe it starts looking like a potential add to position, right? But it's so early that I'm waiting patiently right now and then waiting to see if I'm going to have to take a loss on my position. But as of right now, I'm just holding it for what it's worth. And CLSK is looking very similar to like the other uh, uh, BTC Bitcoin stock miner. So hopefully that answers your question. Hopefully that helps. If you have any follow-up questions or answers to that, let me know. But it's still battling the trending dots. It's still currently bullish. The MACD hasn't had a bearish crossover yet, but it did get pretty extended away, right? That was a quick move up, hit target one most likely. I haven't even charted it, but it hit my phantom target one, the eyeball test, got rejected here, right? Came back down, could be putting in a higher low. That's what I'm expecting. But overall, revisit your risk to reward ratio, and only you can decide if it's still worth it or not, right? So learn to fight another day, and watch your position size. So that's it for that. Let's see if there's any other comments. Is there anything else you guys want me to work? We're getting close to that 1 hour, but I'm not really seeing any other follow-up questions. Grant Matterson, longtime sniper in the Discord, longtime supporter on Twix. Twix. Oh my God. Do I have candy on my mind for happy Halloween today? Right? We are prepared. Grant Matterson has been following me a long time on the Twitter X app, not Twix, right? But I do have Twix on my mind. We do have a lot of Twix and candy ready to go for the trick or treater kids. Hopefully we get a bunch of them because we have a lot of candy for them. We got Snickers bars, we got M&Ms, we got peanut M&Ms, we've got Twix. We are ready to rock and roll. There's no way I'm going to be able to eat all of that candy. We need kids to show up and take the candy away from us. There's no way I want all of that smoke, right? DXY one day bull flag, possibly Javier. We can take a look at it. Mike G, great rundown. Thanks for the wise words. You got it, man. It's like you just got to take it level by level and take it step by step. Remember to always, the risk to reward ratios. When you took a trade, right? And if you go to like, something that we talked about, like even in, quick plug, right? Market Sniper Pro, you come over here. And then if you're already a market sniper, you have access to the dashboard, right? And in the dashboard, like version 1.0, it's only beta tests, right? And if you're already a market sniper, I am charging $1, right? If you're already a market sniper, whether it's the $29 or the $17, or if you're an original $19 subscriber. We have $19 subscribers. When we went live a year and a half ago, we still have recorded coaching people at $49 from a year and a half ago, right? The prices may go up one day, but we're going to keep the prices where they're at right now. But if you're in the dashboard, right, there's a section you can see it here under strategy. If you develop your strategy, or you just kind of write out the strategy that I've laid out in recorded coaching and stuff, and you write that plan out, and before you take every single trade, and there's in the trade assistant, right? The trade assistant and the strategy over here on the menu. If you do all that before taking every single trade, you're going to be looking at the risk to reward ratio. You're going to be looking at to why you took that trade, right? So even holding position shorter term, going through all the progressions, right? Know when to hold them, know when to fold them, know when to walk away, and have all that mapped out in advance, and then live with the results, good, bad, or ugly. You just you want to make sure that you're treating this like a business. Every single trade, right? Every single trade, and you can document it all on the dashboard, all on the trade assistant, all on the strategy, all on the P&L, the net P&L, all on the calendar. Everything is at your fingertips. All the tools are there. This is only version 1. Big things are coming. Big things are going to happen. It just takes time. I'm one person. That's it, right? So that's enough about that. But every trade, if you treat each trade like you're running a business, then you won't be caught off on the wrong sides, right? On the wrong side. And you will take some losses, right? But they won't be so significant that it really sets you back, not only financially, but emotionally, right? So just be aware of that. Grant, my man, is on the website we just talked about. This is Grant right here, right? There's Grant. What's up, Grant? What's up, Grant? Sorry, I know you probably don't like that. That's all right. You're gonna be a celebrity over there. If you need any real estate help over there, Grant is your guy over in Australia. Great rundown. You got it. All right, let's take a look at the DXY 1-day bull flag. Let's take a look at the DXY since you brought it up. Bullish on the weekly chart. This is the daily chart. Yeah, I mean, yeah, it could be, right? It could be a bull flag, right? Like my thoughts overall on or possible like a pennant, right? But overall it could be a bullish pattern, Javier. So it's possible. So that would be, is that a bull flag? Possible. If it is, that'd be scary to a lot of perma bulls, right? So, but my thoughts overall on patterns, right? If it was, and if it did work out, then you would see the DXY come up possibly to back to these highs over here from October 2022, right? It is possible, and it is breaking out. So here's my thoughts again, in case you're new to the channel, in case you haven't been following me for a year and a half or 2 years. My overall thoughts on the bull flag is that probably works out 50 patterns in general work out about 50% of the time. And I don't have any true data on this. I don't have any like real science to back this up. This is just from me obsessing over the charts and looking at the charts over and over and over again. That I think the eyeball test of patterns working out is about 50%. And if you factor in the actual price targets of the patterns, where a bull flag, price of hitting 113 happens because of the bull flag, I think it's like 1/3 of the time, right? So I think my own personal thought is that maybe half of the time the pattern works out in the right direction. And then the other, and then 1/3 of the time the price of the pattern actually works out. That's my own personal opinion, right? I don't think patterns are enough to trade. I think people get wrecked overall. And you would have to be like, if you only traded patterns, your execution needs to be perfect, most likely just to even break even, right? Just even to break even, right? So it's not for me. I like patterns though for like ideas. I just don't, it's not part of my trading strategy. And it's not even it it's there for ideas and that's it, right? It's not even a part of the execution or anything like that. So take it for what it is. But yeah, it could possibly be, right? It could possibly be, Javier. It's a good call on that, right? It is possible. Like I drew this downward trend line, right? Kind of a fake out back to the downside. And then I took that trend line and then I came up here and I hit clone, right? Hit clone and then just kind of moved it down in this area. And you can see that it kind of lines up with this. So let me kind of zoom in here. So it could be a bull flag. So and it is breaking out. Most importantly, in my opinion, is like there's a buy signal getting back above the trending dots. We were kind of talking about that. And then this downward trend line had a close back above. Yes, it came back down, faked it to the back, down to the downside, and then just kind of bounced off, right? So I'm kind of watching that first and foremost. But if you did draw this downward trend line and you did clone it, You can see it kind of lines up there. And so, I mean, it does look like a bull flag. And, maybe you could even be more conservative with the bull flag. I'm not an expert on patterns, but if if you took like a more conservative, like, you know, price, could you draw the bull flag from this wick to that wick? Yeah, you could probably say that. But so regardless, it is breaking out. So, possibly a good call on that, Javier. We'll see. But it is in an upward trend. It is bullish on the daily chart. And it is bullish on the weekly chart. So, we're snipering the markets together, right? So if you see something that I'm not seeing, call it out. Let's take a look at it together, right? So we're snipering the markets together. We're an hour and 5 minutes in. How many likes do we have? I'm flying blind over here. How many likes do we have? Are we doing this together right now? Are we smashing the subscribe button? Smash the subscribe button. Helps me, helps you, helps me, right? Where's Rick's Moneymakers Helton? He must be traveling back from his vacation still. Haven't seen him today. Haven't seen Tesla John in a couple days. Tesla is still ultra bearish. I haven't seen Tesla John. Hopefully he didn't go against the snipers. Hopefully he's one of the snipers. Come on. Hopefully he didn't go against one of the snipers. He's been there. So smash the like. There we go. Do we have any other comments? Anything else? Let's take a look at Bitcoin again. 34,300. Still flat today. Ultra bullish on the daily chart. Bitcoin dominance. Is it kind of leading the way? Right? Possibly. I don't know. It's we'll just kind of keep an eye on it. NASDAQ, right? Is it going to put in a bear flag? Is it letting the trending dots catch up? Is it kind of doing that pump going into the last day of the market? Is it going to get a little bit of a bounce heading into the first part of the month, right? November 1st is tomorrow. Is it going to do all that? Right? Possible, right? We talked about this Thursday evening, right? Thursday evening, I was calling it out. Watch for possible bounces. After the Thursday close, you can see that kind of wick down here at 14,136 and then closed at 14,200. So I put out a bunch of charts with the details in the Discord Thursday night after that close. Hey, could see this happen. That was a big, strong move down. Could start to see it float back up. Could see it start to bounce, right? That's when I took profits on, again, on the NASDAQ shorts. And then we'll just continue to short these bounces. Shorted it back on Thursday, the 12th. Took profits on this wick here. It was looking very wicky. And then got back in here on shorter time frames again. Shorted it down to here. Took profit. Now I'm just waiting patiently. I'm not in a leverage long position. I'm waiting to short the bounce. Everything is still bearish on the NASDAQ. With no other comments, we'll call it here. Thanks for all of your support. I appreciate you, and we'll see you on the next live stream. Thank you, Market Snipers.